So, acolytes. Hassan Piker did a bad thing. Again. Repeatedly. And every time, I just hope he doesn't get away with it, but as it is on Twitch, it just won't change. But hey, let's just at least have our entertainment out of that one, won't we? Let's see what Legal Minds has to say about it, because, well, the doxing thing isn't the best look for, well, the terrorist supporter, so yeah.
Hasan Piker is in hot water yet again as he goes on a harassment spree. We're going to talk about today on the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm, of course, Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is a Fast Facts video, which brings you the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. If you like the Fast Facts, make sure to like the video and leave a comment below. So Hasan, once again, is not learning from the past, is not learning from people telling him what to do, because Twitch is not punishing him for previous bad behavior. And once again, we have Hasan engaging in activities which may very well violate California law and certainly violate Twitch's terms of service. So let's get into the videos, which I posted on my account on X, where he goes through the prohibited behavior. So we'll play that right here and let you guys take a watch.
Yeah. Dylan Burns, Hunter Avalon, Hutch, Destiny's own personal chef. Like, this is what happened. This is what took place. Okay. And the pack actually did unironically raise a bunch of money off of like people who thought that they were giving money to a political action committee that was going to go around and you know, do door knocking campus operations, which they.
So you see there, and that's the end of the clip, where he is exposing these people, you know, Dylan Burns, Hunter Avalon, etc., all their names, their city, their state, their zip code, right? He's putting out all their personal information here on the internet. And the problem with that is when you have 30,000, 20,000, 40,000 people watching live, and then the replays get a bunch, they get replayed everywhere, people react to them. So we're looking at potentially millions of eyeballs on.
That's correct. And I think he forgets one of the most important context. This is a human being that supports violent people, very violent groups, also actually just edges his viewers on all the time, because this is actually it's just on point. You can see this at all times. He edges them on. He has a lot of actually very violent and very dangerous rhetoric. So yeah, this is just incredibly disgusting. Oh, and I'm gonna be honest, this is... I hope he gets actually sued for this, including Twitch, by the way. Twitch should also get really, really bad consequences for this. This is just unhuman. What the F is wrong with him? Wow, honestly.
On this information, you're putting those people in a position where anybody who doesn't like them, right, in this civil war that's going on what might be called the online left, not that the political affiliations matter because they're completely irrelevant. Whether this happens on the left or right, it is still potentially illegal because these people's information is now out there. They're putting it out in a way where any enemy, any person who hates them, whatever, that sees that is incentivized to go out there and take some sort of action.
That's correct. And by the way, I also agree with Legal Mindset. The site is irrelevant. But we know which site Hasan's on. And this site, I wouldn't call them normal human beings at this point. Freaking undead have more heart and sympathy for the living than those fuckers.
Especially knowing that things like this have happened in the past. For example, with Hunter Avalon, who's on that list, has had an incident in the past where he was almost killed with the crazy ex who came and shot his girlfriend, that whole situation. So you've got, a history here where this can happen when information is put out there and you're putting these people at risk. This is something that a reasonable person whose information is put that on the internet in front of hundreds of thousands of people, potentially millions, is going to be afraid of. And that's what people who have seen this and reacted to this are saying. For example, here is Hutch, who is talking about this scenario and how, and how it's violative of at least the Twitch TOS.
Not only was he doing these baseless accusations, he doxed us. He doxed us.
True.
He doxed. It's like prominently featured on his screen.
Yes, it is.
Like, hello? Hello? Are we like, I don't know what to say, man. I mean, like, I reported the VOD. The VOD is still up, like you can find the VOD on his channel. I reported the VOD. I sent an email to like Twitch support. I added them. Like if there's no consequence for this, like I don't know what there's just no rules. Like I don't understand. It's a blatant violation.
I mean, it's Twitch for Hasan. There won't be any consequences for this. There cannot be. And there cannot be any equal consequences for this. This is just not something that will happen. You're just effed. Simple as that. He just doxed you without any cons. I really hope that he actually gets some legal... Because let's be honest here. Let's be 100% honest. Hasan has money. He has rich parents. And the only thing, or the two only things that protects him against any consequences of his actions are that Twitch actually sucks his bollocks and that he comes from a very extremely rich family. Those are those two things that actually protect him, in my opinion. It's disgusting, but it is what it is. And at this point, damn. Like, honestly, it just... This happening makes actually the entire Western justice system look like a joke if he just gets off consequence-free from it. It's just disgusting.
Of Twitch's doxing policy. Like if you go to their policy,
Which we'll go to later as well.
this is what it says about doxing. Doxing of any kind is prohibited by Twitch's community guidelines, even if the perpetrators only expose information available via the public record.
And that's the key there. So even under Twitch's policy, even if that information is in the public record, even if it's something that's out there, that's something that can be, that's against their policy. So even if you could find that somewhere online, right? Even if that's posted somewhere online, that's not good enough. And by the way, for California law, that's also not good enough. Once again, not every state has these laws, but some states do, which is why it can indeed constitute cyber harassment, right? We're going to talk about the two California laws that this clearly would fall within the scope of if law enforcement decide to actually look at this and take this seriously. The first one is electronic harassment. That's under 153.2 of the California Penal Code. And that one reads, every person with intent to place another person in reasonable fear for his safety or the safety of their family by means of electronic communication and without consent, of course, these people didn't consent, and for the purpose of imminently causing the other person unwanted contact, injury, harassment by a third party, and they electronically distribute, publish emails, link, hyperlinks, or make available personal identifying information, including but not limited to a digital image or electronic message of a harassing nature, which would be likely to incite or produce an unlawful action, is guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail or by a fine of not more than $1,000 or by both fine and imprisonment. So you see that here. So what do we have? With electronic harassment, it doesn't in this statute anywhere say that the information has to be quote unquote private or secret or confidential. No, even public information that contains that identifiable information, the name, the address, the state, the city, all that stuff where someone could come and find them and harass them and would incentivize people. And we know there are unhinged people. We see it every day, particularly in the United States, guys. We see it all the time where people are just going to people's houses, attacking them, doing crazy things, unhinged things, illegal things. And it's very likely to incentivize.
Yes. And a lot of them actually get scot-free out of there. So, yeah.
incentivize that unlawful action. And the only criteria here is whether it seriously alarms, annoys, torments, or terrorizes a reasonable person. And let's be honest, if any of you out there at home had your address and home showed on a stream with 50,000, 100,000 people that were, maybe 500,000 that are going to watch that video, yeah, I'm sure you would be at least annoyed, right? Seriously annoyed. So it would meet that standard.
Annoyed if you know who Hasan is, you would be worried. You would be very worried. Annoyed isn't cutting it. Because if this would be a normal person that actually gets doxxed this way, normal people don't have the money of actually protecting themselves. Very rich people have the money, so they would be annoyed. But a normal person, effed. Simple as that, just fucked. It's done. They are done.
The other thing is there's no legitimate purpose to his doxing. Look, this is not to have some sort of fundraiser. This is not, a business saying, hey, go buy from them or whatever else. This is somebody's personal address at home, right? So there's no good reason why you need to be giving out that information. And, look, the penalty is not crazy. It's 1 year in jail. It's not a life sentence. It's not the death penalty, right? But there is a consequence for this action, and this could stack with multiple people. Yes, that could stack up. The other statute is number 646.
Let's be honest here. It would be a miracle if he even gets a week of jail because of this. As I assume, nothing will happen to him. That's what I assume, sadly.
9. This is a California Penal Code, and this is when any person willfully, maliciously, or repeatedly follows or willfully, maliciously harasses another person and who makes a credible threat with intent to place that person in reasonable fear or the safety of their family, and that's once again punishable by the same penalty. So to harass, once again, means to seriously alarm, annoy, torment, or terrorize, right, through your conduct. Okay. And it can be electronic. So credible threat means verbal or written, including performed through the use of an electronic communication device. So when you're using the internet, that counts. That's enough, right? And what is this intending to do? Well, it's intending to alarm, annoy, torment, terrorize those people. There's no legit purpose for this. And you don't need to prove under these statutes, a cyber stalking statute, or rather the stalking statute that has a cyber element, it does not require you to prove that they're actually harmed, just that you are causing them fear. And I think, once again, a reasonable person would be in fear after hearing this under California law. So, you could stack up those two charges. Look at that. Just those two charges from one person. Well, it's up to 2 years there and a fine. I mean, that's pretty serious time there. Now, let's look at Twitch's liability. So Twitch, at this point, we heard Hutch say he's informed Twitch. And I'm sure there's other people that have. So at this point, Twitch knows. Twitch cannot say they don't know. Dan Clancy cannot say, I was unaware of this. I didn't know this was happening. And at this point, under their own policy, which very much describes doxing as showing the real name, contact information, social security number, and home address. So you've got the three: real name, contact, home address. You've got that information out there that he's putting out there that's clearly doxing. Now, they do have another section, which I'm not showing here, which says, okay, well, not all doxing is necessarily illegal. If something is public, it's not necessarily illegal. And that is true because in certain states, it's only private information or confidential information, etc. In other states, the statutes are ambiguous, but California is pretty straightforward. California includes information even that is public. And in their policy.
Yeah, and the thing is, if it's California, especially there, what do you think will happen? They will say, oh no, this poor little human being with an immigration background, he didn't know what he did, or some kind of protection. It just doesn't matter. That's the problem with the entire thing. The entire thing just doesn't matter. At the end, it isn't a question of did he do something illegal. Because potentially, I may not understand the rules, but as it gets explained to me from here, I would say that it tends to a big yes. Did he do something morally wrong? Yes, he does it since years. Does he deserve a kind of punishment for the thing that he did. Yes, he does. But the fact of the matter is, he won't get punished by Twitch because Twitch don't give a fuck. Simple as that. He won't be punished by the judgment system or by the system itself because he is rich and has influential parents. Nothing will come of it. As sad as it is. But the fact in the matter is, he has way too much protection around his ass. And nothing will come of it. It's that simple. I wish it did. I hope it does. I hope he actually finally gets some consequences for his actions. But I just doubt it. And it's purely because of the fact that he is rich and can just throw a lot of money onto his problems. And even threaten the people who will actually sue him. Because you don't know what his unhinged fan base does. Well, you know what they do. But you don't want that to happen to you.
Policy, it doesn't matter either. Just like was read earlier, doxing of any kind is prohibited under Twitch's community guidelines, even if the perpetrators only expose information available via public record. So you see right there, it doesn't matter if the PII was public. If it's released without consent, file a report, will investigate and enforce against the doxer if appropriate. So they're choosing to say that his behavior is okay. And what I'm saying here is they've been informed, they've been alerted, they allow this. At this point, they're allowing it repeatedly. It's not just a one-time thing. I've talked about this before. This has gone again and again. It's a clear violation of the terms of service. It's openly disregarded due to bias. And at this point, it's not speculative at all. There's a bias here. They've got Hasan as the golden boy. We get it. He obviously gets a slap on the wrist when everybody else would get a permanent ban or a very, very, very long-term ban for the exact same conduct. This opens the door to future escalation to situations like what happened to Hunter Avalon, unfortunately, right? No one wants these things to happen. Of course, if there was a situation where somebody unfortunately had an incident where there's an assault, a battery, even, like I said, an attempted murder, right? These things can all happen. If this happens, Twitch will then have blood on its hands because they have known this stuff could happen. They have known these situations can happen, and they have ignored that. When a third party takes action based on what Hasan is doing or based on what any other content creator on Twitch is doing, that can come back to them. That can absolutely come back to them, and it will. And it's playing with fire. It's absolutely dangerous. It's reckless. And at this point, it's willful. It's willful. They know what they're doing, and they're choosing willfully to ignore it. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
Yeah, the thing is, as I said, yes. And I hope it. Okay, he's a professional. He actually, Illegal Mindset gave me a bit of hope that they will catch him, that they will have consequences, there will be consequences. You know what? I just want to believe him. I just want to believe him so hard. Out of a simple, really simple thing called just hope and hoping that a certain amount of justice will just hit him. That somebody that actually acts like him won't get away with it. I just hope it. I honestly do. I would prefer to be wrong about the entire thing. I'll be perfectly happy to be just freaking wrong about it. Just to such a high degree that I would be ashamed that I actually did it. But sadly, I just don't think there is any way that this can happen. As I said, I hope it does. I really hope, but I just don't think so. But as it is, acolytes, good night.